to the show, and I'm with Keith English from Keith English Real Estate. And Keith, we've been talking about we've been covering off some of the points of selecting an agent, and we're talking off air because we've been talking about it from the buyer's perspective. But even though you work for the buyer, it's up to you. Very, very important you can understand customers' needs as well. And we're talking about presentation. And you raise an interesting point. We're just a bit off camera. And different buyers' expectations. Like a buyer that comes in and says, look, Keith, I really want to buy a house. I can renovate.
Yeah. So, we were discussing a property that was really nicely presented. And he said, I don't want to buy this one because I want something that I can renovate. Okay, so the only real flaw in the house was it had quite a dated bench top. So I dragged him into the kitchen and I said, imagine what this will look like with a granite bench top on there, and what's your favourite granite? And he told me he liked the black with the golden fleck, and we could put some downlights above the kitchen so it reflects really nicely. Yeah. And then a little light bulb went off, and he says, well, then I won't have to do the rest of the house. Okay. So he could put his stamp on the property, which is what he wanted to do. He wanted to get a house and put his feel into it. So he could go in there, you could spend $5,000-$6,000 putting a new bench top on there, and then save the rest of his weekends for enjoying the house instead of having to renovate it. And he bought the property there and then.
Do you find, and when you're presenting properties, obviously you have to find from the buyers. There must be some buyers that probably just want to walk in and do zero. Yeah. Do you find that they're the majority, or do you find there's kind of 50-50, or more people like to have something they can just put their bit of a stamp on?
Yeah, it's a combination of all three. Yeah. I mean, when I go looking for a house, I like ugly because you can buy ugly cheaper. Okay. So and I know how you can fix it. So that's me as a
typical buyer. Real estate agent. I'll profiteer off ugly here.
Yeah, well, and whereas some people, and that's probably more of the savvy buyer. Some people want to walk in and it be nicely presented. Yeah. But I think above everything, you ugly is one thing, but dirty is another. So So you want to buy stuff that's clean. So when you're selling a house, it's very important to keep it clean, neat and tidy. And there's a few things that people can do without doing renovations and without spending a lot of money, is to present their house a little bit better. Yeah. So, and there's a lot of shows on TV at the moment about styling and presenting your home. And they have unlimited budgets, it seems.
I know. But they don't cost very much, according to the TV. I've looked at some of the prices and gone, I can't get it for that price. Yeah.
But basic things, like decluttering. So I would prefer to see things taken out of the house and stored in the garage during the sale process, even though you're might clog up the garage, or better still, borrow a family member's friend's a shed or garage so you can put stuff in there. So declutter it and make it a bit more minimalist, so people can walk in and have a sense of space. Okay. So the other thing is clean. Make sure the bathrooms are clean, toilets are clean. I sold a house down in the southern suburbs that it had been empty a very long time. So it had been empty for about 6 months when I got the job to sell it. And one of the toilets was disgusting. That's the only word I could put for it. And so I kept flushing the toilets and keeping it trying to clean. I put air fresheners through and scented candles and did all this stuff. And then after 3 weeks, I thought, I'm going to have to clean the toilet. Yeah. And so I got all my cleaning gear, I went down and cleaned the toilet, and it sold that day.
Wow.
So my wife complained. She said she never cleaned the toilets. She said, I don't get paid that much to clean the toilet.
There is, you mentioned the TV shows, and look, there's quite a few on there at the moment. And we're talking about, preparing your home and then presenting it. And I see a few of them are saying, look, we'll take all your stuff out and we get these professional staging?
Staging, yeah.
And they hire the furniture and pop it in.
Yeah, it's... depending on the furniture in the house, I'm bringing on a property shortly that will be staged.
Okay.
And that's because it's vacant, there's no furniture in there.
Uh-huh.
So that makes a big difference on some occasions.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but one person told me, and you might be sure it's true, if a house is vacant of all your furniture, people have difficulty envisaging what it would look like with furniture in it.
Yeah, and sometimes they'll say, my couch would never fit here. But if there's a couch in there, they can actually see the space of it as well. So,
right.
And you can stage homes relatively cheaply these days. So,
okay.
And there's a number of companies out there doing it.
Mm.
Yeah.
So if it's a vacant home, staging can actually work for you.
It's also depending on the sellers as well, because it is an expense.
Mm.
I'll still, a good agent will still sell the property, and that's part of the job. You sell the dream and you sell the vision of them living in the house.
Yeah.
So it'll never be an obstacle, but if it's within someone's capacity to stage a home, I'd always have, between myself and some friends of ours, we'd have enough furniture that we could go stage homes that we were selling ourselves.
Yes.
So we would go do that, or we want a new couch for home, so we would buy a new couch and stage the property, and then we'd take that one for home. So, but even if you're not going and fully staging a house with furniture, you can still, if it's got your furniture in there, you can still get nice cushions. You can make sure the beds are nice. Declutter the houses, get all your medicines off the kitchen benches and get them away, so just declutter, make it minimalised, make it clean, make it neat. No one wants to know if you've got some unusual books that you want, have them on display, or if they're not appropriate, take them off.
Yeah.
So things that aren't going to upset people, but an interesting, some interesting authors that sometimes people will look at the books that you read.
Okay.
And get a picture of the feel of the house by doing that as
Yeah.
well. Yeah.
Is there, when you're presenting a house, are there any, I've heard the stories, always have a coffee pot on and, bake some cookies in the oven. Keith's laughing. You can drop off some cookie dough mix, you can pop them in the oven.
It's funny because some people will walk in and go, oh yeah, they're doing the old coffee pot trick. Buyers are aware of that. But I bought a house myself, and I fell in love with this house. And it was an old Dutch couple in an A-frame wood house. And there was fruit trees out the back, and they made their own jams. And so all this stuff was out there, and they had a fresh pot of jam cooking on the stove, and it just smelled beautiful. So those things, it was a natural part of their life.
Yeah.
There's a difference between doing something and making it look fake and as an attempt, or just to have it. But freshly brewed coffee is something that if it's natural, it can happen.
Yeah.
Nice smelling candles, if they're overpowering, it's not good. But it's just something that's nice and presented. Those are all the things that you can do with the property.
Yeah. We're going to take a break. We're going to come back because I think what I want to do is cover off with Keith some of the do not do this. And then we'll just do a quick wrap up of today's show, which has been absolutely fascinating. So stay tuned and we'll be right back.